Hello, good morning, evening and or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hope everyone is having a good and a pleasant Sunday. Last stream before Christmas. It's unlikely I'll be streaming on Wednesday. I mean, you never know, but it seems unlikely. Got up on the screen where we got to on the last stream. Again, always a mad dash right at the end to get something done. We got some model loading, the textures are wrong, the lighting doesn't seem quite right. These were not the models I thought we were going to load. There's a lot of issues. So I think the thrust of today's stream is going to be a quick refactor of the mess we made and then fix up some of this. I had a little look off stream. Again, I'm not... It's part of my kind of commitment, I guess. My thought process. I don't want to commit any code I've not written live. So I had a little bit of a play around, but I've reversed all my changes. I figured out what was going wrong with the models, as in the problem was the model file. What I unknowingly purchased was something called a warehouse items scene and a warehouse items pack. The scene contains groups of items sort of pre stuck together, as it were, in the pack. So I just need to switch where we source the files from. But a lot of this doesn't look right. I'm not convinced this like here is right. Maybe. Don't know. We'll play around with it today. So yeah, that's going to be the plan, I think. Because we just want to load basically a bunch of single barrels that aren't given a wooden texture. Have them correctly lit. And then if we get time, maybe we'll go on to... maybe we'll get on to some of the normal mapping. But yeah, right, well, let's get started. So, as we can see, the only thing I've really added is a bunch of new asset files. I've just normalized them all so the engine in theory, well, the game, sorry, should be able to load them. But yeah, let's dive into it. A few of the regulars rolling in. Good to see you. Chad is here from the last video. Glad you could be here. It's good to have you along. Quecko. A few others. Nope, I want the other one. Okay. Oh, so... audio issue. I played around with the settings. Do let me know if the audio still seems out of sync with the video. It seems to be the best solution is you just manually add a delay. So we might have to crowdsource that and see where we get to. So things I want to change first are the naming convention. I was kind of complaining a bit in the last stream. I didn't like the mixtures of names I'd gone for, like model loader and then mesh. I think I've decided that I want to standardize on mesh being the collection of data that represents a mesh, and then anything that requires additional information, like for instance a world, like a model matrix or something like that, will either be a model or probably for us just at the moment an entity. So we just need to rename the model loader to mesh loader. I think that'll be the first thing we do, and then I want to change the constructor for the matrix because I don't like that I had to bodge in sort of half bodge in tag dispatch to disambiguate constructors. That'll all make sense when we get there, and then we can start looking at actually loading what we want to load. Audio seems synced. Good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not my end. So yeah, making a... It's fine on Twitch. Okay, well, let's keep going. Obviously, the settings I changed must have had some sort of effect. We're going to be making a game from scratch. This comes up a lot. I don't know what the game is, and I don't know entirely what from scratch, like how far we're going to take from scratch, but so far we've done our own windowing, we've done our own OpenGL function resolution, we've done our own OpenGL chuff. The only libraries we've brought in so far are a debug UI and something to parse image files, so we're doing as much as we can, I think, from scratch. Okay, so... Let's find our model loader and we'll rename that mesh loader, and then we'll rename that, nope, not that one, Do we not have another one? Oh, yeah, it's down here. And we're in this mesh loader. And then we'll have to open up the CMake file. Source. Why? What's going on? Don't know what's going on there. Okay. Source / CMake. There we go. And then model loader will become mesh loader. Check those are sorted. Oh yeah, and gtest, good spot, yeah. Okay, and then let's open up the now newly named mesh loader. We'll change model loader to mesh. It's just a bit of housekeeping. I think it's worth trying to keep on top of these things. Change that, and then I also want to rename model data to. Actually, I'm careful here because there's two of them, isn't there? Let's do. Got to do the longer one first. So loaded model data to loaded mesh data, and then we can do %s model data to mesh data, and then Jesus, loaded models to loaded meshes, and then model file to mesh file, and then model name to mesh name. Why did that model data not change? What did I do wrong? Oh, because it did H. Okay, fine. Just G. Okay, cool. Does the std vector allocate memory on heap, even if the std vector is defined on a local scope of a function? Vector allocate memory dynamically. Yeah, so a vector is a dynamic array. It's an array that allows you to, at runtime, change the size of it. So that kind of suggests that it has to have access to some sort of like heap, like dynamic memory allocation, which in most operating systems and most platforms will be a heap. What is stored on the stack is the 3 pointers, or most implementations will use 3 pointers, which point to the various parts of that heap for the bookkeeping. So your stack will be 3 pointers, and those will point to various parts of the heap. A std vector also has the ability to be templated on an allocator. So you could create your own custom allocator, which comes from a pool or a linear allocator or whatever your favorite allocator is. So you don't have to use it by default. Std allocate will just use new and delete, which is probably malloc under the hood. Okay, that was a lot of renaming. Didn't want that. Let's go to mesh. Let's go to the CPP file and run all those again. So model loader, mesh loader, loaded mesh, loaded model, model data, model mesh, and then the model name. Load models. I don't think there's any more. Okay, let's see if that blends. Oh, I probably need to change the header at the top as well. So that should be mesh loader. Let's just see. That won't work because, excuse me, main will need to change model loader to mesh loader, and then do that there. And then mesh. Okay, nice. And then I think there's now one more model loader. Mesh. What did I miss? Mesh. Oh, what's going on? Mesh.h. Model loader. Mesh and model. Mesh, that is correct. Excuse me. And then mesh, same thing here. Let's go model mesh and model mesh. Okay. Again, it might seem a bit weird, but I think it's worth getting these things right now when we're not at the end of a stream, desperately trying to get something running before we close out for the night. The .h still has model loader. Let me have a look. Yeah, I mean, I can't really give you advice around embedded stuff because I don't really do embedded stuff. I know they have some restrictions, but you can presumably allocate a large static buffer, and then use a custom allocator to effectively treat that as a heap, just giving out chunks from that. But it really depends on the situation. Without seeing the code, it's very hard for me to kind of provide specific advice. I've got the mesh loader there, so what's it complaining about? What am I missing? Oh, why does this still say model loader? How strange. Thought I'd fix that. So I think we're there. Okay, that still works. I say works. It looks awful, but we're actually let's update that. Do this. Type a load of stuff. Make it look like I know what I'm talking about. Let's commit. Rename model to mesh. Right, I think we're here. I've never read a cybersecurity book, so I have no favourites. And then the other thing I wanted to look at was the matrix class, just because I didn't really like the interface we had. So the problem is that originally we had this, so you could construct a matrix for with a translation vector, which makes sense. That sounds like a thing you'd want to do. And then I was like, oh, I need to create a scale vector, but they're both. Sorry, I need to create a scale matrix, but I want to accept that as a vector 3, as an x, y, z scale, and you couldn't disambiguate between the two. So I just created an empty type that you would be forced to pass here to basically disambiguate the two. I don't really like that. So what I thought I would do, I think translate is probably the more common case. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do const vector 3. Yes. Translation. Is that what I want to do? Take them both, and then if you just need the scale, you could just pass in an empty vector here, or I might make a static like make translation and make scale matrix later. But I think for our use case now, so I guess for anyone new, welcome. I'm trying to only write code that I actually need in the moment and not try and do too much speculatively, because it doesn't really get us anywhere in that point in time. So it does. I guess the disadvantage of that is it does mean we make a few mistakes along the way where we're like, oh, we probably should have done that this way. So swings and roundabouts. So now if I go back to main, this won't work, but I should be able to do, in fact actually this might make the code a little bit nicer because I can do game, matrix 4, and then it can deduce the fact that this is a vector now, so I don't need that. And then I think I can do something like that. Hello, AC, glad you're here. Well, that didn't work, did it? That's giving me a whole load of miserable error messages. Oh, did I actually change? Ah, no. I'll tell you what I've done is I actually specify those. It's in the entity definition. I think I take them as separate, so that's fine. So actually, we can fix this in the entity implementation. So rather than doing model position times that, we should be able to just pass these in as CF scale and then DF there. Right, so that should work. I gotta love good template errors. They are, I mean, all the information is there. The compiler's not wrong. It has told you everything it knows. It's just it knows quite a lot. Does that still look reasonably corpulent? It's still a bit dark. I'll fix the lighting, I think, because that's something about this is not quite right. Okay, let's just commit that up. So improve matrix for CTOR. Okay, right. So now we can actually do something. So I think I want warehouse. Yeah, I can't remember what I called it now. Tree assets. I want warehouse pack, I think, because the pack contains the individual objects. The scene contains some sort of like prefab. What is going on? Some sort of prefabricated nonsense. So let's change this to pack. I believe now that this will change, but the logs will show us what it is. So we can figure that out. Yeah, okay, so as we expect, can't load the mesh, but I want metal barrel. Let's go for metal barrel mesh 025. This sounds like a good one. Nope, before I made that mistake. And I'm also going to drop the randomness and just stick them all on the XZ plane. I think it'll just make figuring out the lighting a little bit easier. So stick them there, and then let's give that a go. Yes, there's an interesting point someone mentioned there. Heap and stack, apart from std heap and std stack, the data structures, the concept of those as sort of like memory allocations doesn't actually exist in the standard. Nowhere in the standard does it say, this should get allocated on the heap or the stack. The standard just talks in terms of lifetimes, whether it is bound to the scope or whether it has like a dynamic lifetime. So yeah, the heap and the stack are just implementation details according to the standard. So I think someone pointed that out. I always think that's an interesting point. Let's make these a little bit bigger. This is the Dracula Colors theme. I think somebody pointed that out. What's my take on RAI in its performance versus memory arenas? I think RAI is like one of the reasons to use C++. I literally think it's almost, if you're not using RAI, I just personally don't believe you are kind of using C++ correctly. You know, it is the way to make sure that it's getting the compiler to do all the hard work. It's making sure that the undo operation of whatever you have done is called on every possible route out of a scope. Like, it just saves you so much hassle and potential mistakes. Like, it's getting the compiler to do all the heavy work. And I think I don't really understand people going and complaining about the performance, because you would have just written those functions yourself anyway. It's just making sure that they are written. For me, RAI isn't a performance issue, it's a safety issue. So yeah, like memory arenas or whatever it is, they're kind of, that is like an allocation and a memory management concept, not a please make sure I undo everything I've done and correctly handle my, sort of deterministic resource management. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. This light seems really, really dim, but oh, it's gone. I was going to have a little look around. We need to improve, like async is, so I know we've got a debug build of async, but we need to improve this at some point. At some point in the future, we will build out our own asset pipeline where we kind of pack all the resources into a format that the game the game itself kind of understands better, and then that'll be a lot faster. Okay, so this looks like a load of barrels, just with the wrong material. The material I believe is called barrel drums albedo. And then I've got the specular one as the metalness. And then that. A bit of copy and pasting, but we'll get there. Okay. I think these are bigger as well. I think these are 4K, so was it 496? Dot. But again, like smart pointers are ways of modeling ownership. Again, it's about lifetime. It's not necessarily about performance. I assume you're talking about that one arena allocator article written by that chap whose name I forget. Like, if you need an arena allocator, you should use it. But like, smart pointers are there for modeling ownership of objects and making sure that they are deterministically released, given whatever lifetime rules you have, either like unique ownership or shared ownership. So again, I think they're kind of conflating terms. This doesn't look right. This looks upside. This looks upside down. Because I need the magical makefix async flag, don't I? Where's the magical makefix flag? What's it called? That's the badger. Mesh loader. Could even be mesh loader. Async. Where is it? Here you go. AI process triangulate. Flip UVs. Please make sure the UVs are the right way round, not the wrong way round. I've not really looked at this ChatGPT 3.0 AGI breakthrough, so I don't really have an opinion on it. Like, I have an opinion on AI, which I think is like, it's a great tool for minimizing like repetitive tasks, especially even in programming. But I wouldn't trust it to write something. I would trust it to write something I already know how to write, but faster. I wouldn't trust it to write something that I'm still kind of figuring out, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've got a bunch of barrels. Again, it's still pretty dark, and it's not really bringing in that specular component either. Maybe we need to kind of boost this a bit. There's definitely some issues here. Okay, that's fine. We can work with this. So we need to go to the vertex shader first. So at the moment we are transferring the normals into model space, and this will work, but it will not work if you have a non-uniform scale. So if you don't stretch all three axes the same amount, this will mess up the normal. So you have to do a little bit of magic here. You have to do transpose inverse mat3. You need to convert the model matrix to a 3x3 matrix, as in just take the top 3x3 components. You then need to invert it and transpose it, and that makes the maths work. In fact, actually, I think we can then simplify this to that. That is inefficient, by the way. We shouldn't be doing that on for every single vertex. We should be computing that once on the CPU side and sending that over in the uniform. I just cannot be bothered to write a matrix 3 class today. There's more interesting things to do. So that's a potential improvement gain we can get in the future. I mean, that didn't look right at all. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, what is that? Whee! I can see the specular bit on top. Whoa. Now that is shiny. There's a so it looks like it's a problem with the directional light's absolutely blowing it out. And then the point lights are just flat out wrong. They're clamping. Oh, the Twitch stream died. How are we doing on Twitch? We still there? I don't really know how to fix this. How do I me reload Twitch or you reload Twitch? Yeah. Whoa. This is messed up. Looks like all of. Oh yeah, I've got 0 viewers on Twitch. I don't really know. Can I? Twitch views reload. Okay, let's give them a second, because I am monitoring it on Twitch on the Stream Manager and on my unified chat app, and I'm still seeing myself. So yeah, reload fine. Great. That's just kills. Oh, 29 people put back. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you're back. Okay, so I suspect that possibly the issue here is we've sent the normals over. Like, there's something wrong with the normals, probably. So let's have a look. Can we just let's just visualize the normals. So we should be able to do vec4 normal 1.0. Let's just try that, just to see what the normals are doing. I definitely get more live viewers on YouTube. I don't know if that's because I started on YouTube and then went to Twitch. I don't know. Ooh, we died. Missing uniform. What? But I've. Oh, I bet this has optimized this all out, so it doesn't think that. Do I still print out my uniforms? Oh, it's optimized it out. The shader compiler's gone. Oh well, you're only going to print this all out, so I'll remove the rest of it. So it's gonna be a debugging stream today. Let's just allow this to not throw if it's not there. Oh, much appreciated, Julian. Nice. Double watching. The shader automatically recompiles. It's not like Spear v Vulkan stuff where you have to compile it as a separate step. There's an OpenGL function which will compile it. So I'm actually compiling them all at runtime. Ooh, boom. What's gone wrong? That's sad. Whoa, what's happened there? Oh, actually, yeah. So I just want to do this avoid function. So if uniform equals std, yeah, I can't just ignore this. Std ranges cend uniforms return. How about that? If it's not there, just ignore it. Can you turn off shader optimizations? You know what? That's a good question. I don't actually know. I suspect there probably is a function, but it's easier for me just to ignore the error at the moment. Okay. That does not look right to me. I would expect probably those colours. I would not expect this horrific band here. Like this should be the normal should be a smooth like gradation around it. Let's tell you what, let's do this. Let's open up in RenderDoc and see, because we're either loading the normals wrong from the model or we're transforming them wrong somewhere in the shader. So let's kind of approach this logically. Let me clear out the previous stuff. Copy that over to the Windows file. Copy assets. Okay, assets and source. Let's open up RenderDoc and have a little look-see. It is Christmas, so there is port. Okay. Let's get a better view of. Sorry, let me just drag it over so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to try and get one of those bandings in sight, and then we'll just have a little look around at what's going on. So that's quite a lot of them. So let's capture that. Half an hour in, and we're already in RenderDoc. You know it's going to be it's going to be a good one, right? Okay. So you can see here it's rendering them all. Each one of these is a separate render call. Obviously, there's possibilities of multi-draw and instance draw and all that sort of stuff, but at the moment we're just like raw drawing each of them individually. Let's just take the closest one. I mean, they're all the same, but okay. Mesh viewer. So this is the mesh, and you can see here it's like it's triangles and stuff like that. So here's the impositions. So what we can do is, let me just reset this. We can take the normals, select this as the secondary, and then go visualization secondary. Turn off the wireframe. See, this is what I'd be expecting. This is the normals as loaded from the model. You've still got these different colors, but there's a smooth gradient between them. And you can see here this is green because this is pointing up. These lips here are pointing up, so they're tinged green. And then you've got, I hate this view. And then you've got red pointing in the X direction, over to magenta, and then blue pointing what's now in the Z direction. So this suggests to me that the normal data is correct, as in we've successfully loaded the model. I'd be surprised if Hassim got that one wrong. I mean, never say never, right? So we changed this, and I'm pretty sure this is right. I think I've seen the issue, but Twitch is on a quick ad break, so I'll see if anyone else can see the issue. Well, what I think is the issue, and then we'll come back to it. I think Quaco might be on something on Twitch. I think it's something to do with that. And then let me just get the fragment shader up. So map 3 to map 4 is deliberate. You basically want to take off the translation components and then do some maths to it so that the non-uniform skews don't incorrectly skew the normals, basically. No, I think the issue is that give it, keep everyone in suspense. Of course, this might not be the issue, but I'm thinking I know what it is. No, it's definitely not map 4, map 3. Like, we definitely want a map 3 here, and then a 3x3 matrix times by 3 by 1 by 3. No, it's rows first. 1 by 3 vector will give another 3 component vector, so that's fine. Like, the output of this is correct. But I think the issue is that this is now no longer normalized. Oh, that's what I want. Slow. We're going to have to improve this start time. Ooh, looking a bit better. There we go. That's smoother. You can see the smooth around the inside of the lip of the barrel as well. So that was the issue. Okay, fine. So this is easy. So in theory, we should be able to just drop this and. Excuse me. Look at that. And those are, look at that. That's better. I think those lights are potentially brighter as well. Am I going mad? They look bright. And you got the nice little specular. See if I can get a bit closer. You got a little specular bit on the metal cap as well, which is nice. My PC's fine. Let's see if we can bring this up a bit. Yeah, so I wonder if... Because I thought I was going mad a few streams ago, and I was like, these lights are definitely not as bright once we removed the hard-coded like fudge factor. And I wonder if it's because the normals weren't... Because we weren't normalizing it before. I wonder if that's the problem. That is nice. Let's make this like white. Let's make this... he says. Now that, I think, looks quite smart. Look at that. That actually looks like a light. We can kind of embed it in the barrels to kind of get that lighting from underneath. That's pretty sweet. And then presumably now we can, all these factors allow us to really much better control the attenuation of the light. So we can have quite a bright spot there. Look at that. It is capping it. It is clipping there, but we'll fix that in future when we do HDR. Yeah, shadows is such a pain. We'll do shadows at some point, but this shadows is one of the biggest like hacks in graphics programming. It's such a fudge. Like, it really is. Because there's no concept of a light emitter and then a blocking of it. Like, you're just literally lighting pixels, so you have to kind of runtime calculate what would be in the way of the light source and the pixel, and then account for it. Yeah, shadow mapping, basically. Cool, right, that's it. Done. Stream over. We can go. No, don't go. Right, let's... I didn't have much of a plan for today's stream, so I think maybe we should have a look at maybe doing normal mapping. I think that might, because I've got a normal map for this, so I think that might be a good look. So I think I've got a normal map. Let's just stick that in the albedo hole and see what it looks like, and then we'll see if we can, because there's a bit of maths to do with this and a bit of fudging. No, we're not doing HDR yet. That'll be soon. I imagine we'll do that in the new year. So probably one of the first things if we do normal mapping now, I think HDR probably next. We'll need to build out the frame buffers and the pipelines and all that kind of thing, but we'll do that and some tone mapping. Obviously, this isn't totally correct because we've got these lights and these will be affecting it because it thinks this is the color, but that sure looks like a normal map to me. It's got the ridges. So let's have a go at this. It's been a while since I've done normal mapping, so I'm just going to get my notes up. Yeah. Okay, so oh god, yeah, we're going to need to do tangent space and bitangents and a whole lot of other crap. Okay, let's do this. Sorry, I didn't have much of a plan today because it's nearly Christmas, but I wanted to jump online anyway, so what do we need to do? We're going to need to wire up another texture first, so let's start with the easy bit. Actually, I think our current setup will just pretty much allow us to do that anyway. Oh, hang on, let me just copy up. Let's just comment on what we've got so we don't get confused. So commit, and that was fix normals and rendering. Okay. So because we just give it an array of textures, we should be able to just give it a text too. I should rename these at some point, and now we can just reference that where we need it. Let's go to main. So this will be albedo. And then we'll do, let's just bring that up there. And then this will be normal map. You have to bear with me a little bit today. I do not suspect this will work first time. And then I want my normal map. And then another sampler, and then I use ranges because obviously I use ranges to zip all those together. So this will now create a vector of tuples of texture to sampler. So this will now go through all the machinery we've already got and should map it in. So we should now have access to our normal map. Yeah, I'm just going to async will give us the tangent space, and then I can just calculate the bitangent space with the cross product in the shader. Is what I'm thinking of doing. So mesh low. Careful, steady. So there's another magical. That should be that. There's another magical make work flag, and that is AI process calc tangent space. So basically, this talk of bitangents and tangents and stuff is you want to. And let me just get up the article that everyone uses for this. So the idea with normal mapping is you provide it an image which encodes into the RGB components a vector, XYZ, and that tells it what the normal of that point pixel is, basically. So the idea is you can have, I don't know if you can see it here, but you can use it to generate much more realistic looking surfaces because you have much more like detail about the surface without having to encode loads and loads of vertices. So this whole wall here is 2 triangles, but you get this kind of nice 3D effect because you're telling it how to calculate the lighting per pixel rather than just per vertex and then interpolating across them. There's a whole host of issues this kind of goes through. Basically, it will probably work fine if these X, Y, Z or RGB components line up to your world RGB, but as soon as you rotate it, then they're all going to point in the wrong way. So the idea is that you create a orthonormal basis around the normal, called the tangent and the bitangent. So these 3 are orthogonal to each other, so they're all at right angles, and then you transform all the lights into this tangent space, which means the lights, rather than being relative to the world origin are relative to your particular normal, and then the lighting maths just kind of works. So we have the normal, that will be the pixel value, but we also need 2 right angle vectors to it. We can get so I lost my train of thought. We can get async to calculate that. Sorry, that normal is the vertex normal, not the pixel normal, because we have to rotate the normals to be in line with where that vertex is in the world. I think that's right. So we'll generate this tangent vector here, and then we'll just calculate the bitangent in the shader because you just use the cross product. I think that's the maths. I'm sure someone out there knows more than me and can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's right. If it proves to be inefficient, we can just calculate the bitangents on the CPU, but it just seems less work for me at the moment to just slap those in. Okay, so I want some tangents. Look, where's my code? Let's go vertex data. And tangent. So this is now going to need a new component to our vertex data. Go to mesh loader. For the normal, shoot, am I gonna bother doing this for the cube? I probably will need to. I'm just going to cheat to get this to compile at the moment and just pass in the normals again, because we'll come back and fix that later, because I'm more interested in the actual model we're loading. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so in order to apply the vector encoded in the texture, we need to make sure that the texture knows what is up and which way is up in our world space. So we give it the normal of the vertex interpolated to it, and then we can just do some maths and it all kind of works. Sounds good to me. Okay, so I can get the tangents out of this loop here. Nope, out of this here. So so ensure is just a little function I wrote which has a predicate and then some string building code which can be improved. And basically if the predicate fails, it throws an exception. So it's just a way of basically saying this should work. If it doesn't, here's how you should, and then I could just basically give it arbitrary information. Okay, and then we can do tangents dot pushback. Mesh. I'm just thinking m tangents I dot x mesh m tangents I dot y mesh m tangents I dot z. Okay, so that should now give us access to the... It really doesn't like my login code. Yeah, I was going to use... well, no, it'll still use exceptions, but I was going to use it... I was going to change it to use the... oh, let me go to now. The improved... I say improved. The format string templated on the variable argument types, so we can use, so we don't have the problem with ensure at the moment is that it's using v format and std mate format args because it cannot know what this message is at compile time. But if we use format string, we can basically get compile time checking that all the argument we've passed the correct number of arguments to the formatter. So it's just like a small improvement. There I go. Type in mesh loader again. Okay. Just see if this builds. I don't need to run it. Of course not. What have I gone wrong? I mean, I know Zed's... We'll ignore that. I didn't save it, but we'll ignore that. We all make mistakes. Okay, I got my order wrong. Oh no, I just haven't passed it in. Sorry. Just forgot to pass it in. Tangents. Yeah, I'm going to make a fortune selling shirt saying I forgot to save it. That and hash include mistyped. Okay, that builds. So we're now actually this templated gem is paying dividends now because now it's super easy for us to just build up the vertex data by just giving another collection of a different attribute that we need. So we've added, we've added tangents, and as long as we give it to it in the right order, then the magic of ranges zips it all together for us. So that's all I did there, is I basically specified another, I've got a range of positions, normals, tangents, and UVs, and this just zips them all together into a vertex data object and then creates a vector of them. Yeah, I was just going to calculate it on the CPU, just a bit of fun. Okay, so now that we've got access to that, I think we can go back to the vertex shader, and now we have a... Oh, I must update the locations. I really should... One day we'll switch to vertex pulling, and then I won't have to do this. Okay, so 2, 3. I'll have another one of these. Oh no, just one. And then F2, 3, and then 3 components for that. And then the offset will no longer be UV. It will be of tangent. And then make sure, the usual trick I do of forgetting to enable it. Okay. Vertex pulling is where you specify all your vertex data in a massive SSBO, and then in the shader you access that array by the magic, whatever it is, GL instance. So rather, it basically gets rid of all this, it gets rid of all this, and you basically just have one massive array of SSBO data, and then it means you can kind of store multiple models in that array if you need to. There's a whole loads of clever optimizations you can do. You effectively pull the vertex data into the shader. The only reason I've not done it yet is because, one, I don't need it. Allegedly, it is more performant, like it has better throughput characteristics. There's three reasons I've not done it. One, I don't need the performance. Two, I suspect RenderDoc might not like it, and three, I've just not been bothered. So it's kind of easy just to stick with the traditional one. But yeah, you could just whack all your vertex data on one massive SSBO and pull from there. I had a Matrox card. Okay, so what are we doing now? So we need a TBN matrix that we can then multiply. We can use for our next set of calculations. I think that's right. Oh no, actually, I lie. I think we want to make the lights. Just thinking, what's the best way of doing this? I think I want to transform. So there's a couple ways of doing this, right? You need to make sure all your lighting calculations happen in the same space. It doesn't really matter what that space is, as long as everything's in that same space. So at the moment we're doing everything in world space. So I specify the point light in some place in the world, and then we make sure that, you know, the normals and everything get transformed into that world space, and then we do the lighting calculations there. Now, we effectively now going to have a new space called tangent space. Okay? Ignore the maths, no one cares about that. So we either need to transform all of anything in our tangent space over to world space, or anything in our world space over to tangent space, if that makes sense. So I think what we're going to want to do is, I think it's more efficient and just less code to move all the lights over to tangent space, because it's less, you just have to move the lights, each of the lights once, right? Right? Rather than moving every single fragment into every single normal in the normal map into world space, I think we just want to move all the lights once into tangent space and do the calculations from there. I think, right? I mean, that sounds reasonable. So I think, yeah, right. Sounds good. Should I just stop talking and write some code? Out. Vec3 tangent light pos out vec3 tangent view pos, because these are all the components that we need. No, because I've got multiple lights, haven't I? Actually, okay, I'm gonna do it the simpler way, I think. So in fact, we're just gonna wang over a TBN matrix because I've got multiple lights, so I'd have to write those back into an SSBO, I think. I can't translate them on the CPU because it's per vertex, right? So let's just start writing some code and we'll just see where we get to. So the T is going to be normalize vec3 model times vec4 of the intangent 0.0 ft. The N is going to be of the normal, and then vec3b is going to be equal to cross nt. Taking the cross product of two vectors will give you another vector that is at right angles to both of them. And then our TBN is equal to mat. I think the maths is then you just stick these in that matrix. And then he says, with absolute confidence, we'll then take an in mat3 TBN. Yeah, I mean, the B is whatever you want it to be. So we're gonna do. I'm just gonna do the normal mapping on the point light to start with, and we'll add it to the because also the direction light doesn't even have a specular. Doesn't even correctly do specular yet, so the direction light's a bit sad anyway. Okay, so let's just bring this across and close this down. Where do I use the normal? So I use the normal here. So I want to do vec3 n, terrible name, is the texture of text to text chord, right? I need to swizzle that because everything's very inefficient. All the images are four channels. No, there are no problems with bitangents generated by Asimp. I just couldn't bother to write out the code and add it to my vertex data. I thought it'd be easy just to do a quick cross product in the shader. We're kind of going for like ease of coding rather than necessarily the most performant. But it's a good question. And again, it's probably a good trade-off of memory versus like GPU processing. There's a whole load of stuff we need to optimize in the shaders anyway, like pulling the normal matrix out and stuff like that. So we'll definitely come to that later. Okay, so I've got my N, which is my normal. Not to be confused with this normal. We'll rename these later as well, make them better. Okay, so that will give me the components. And then so here's an interesting thing. When you have a normal map, you obviously encode everything is in the RGB channels as your X, Y, Z, but they only go from 0 to 1, right? That's the range of colors. But we need to be able to represent negative numbers as well. So we have to do a little bit of a fudge here, where we do equals n times 2.0 minus 1.0. What this does is it doubles because of the way, I'm going to put the brackets in anyway, even though you don't need them because of the precedence. You double them all, so then now it will go from 0 to 2, and then you subtract 1, which then now shifts them all in the range of minus 1 to 1. So that's what this does, is this effectively allows us to represent negative numbers, pull out negative vectors from the normal map. And then I think we can do normalize TBN times n, and then replace these with that, and now we can spend the rest of the stream debugging this because it's not going to work. I think this is a poll moment. Do we think this is... well, just check it blends first. Right. Do we think this is going to work first time? And by first time, I mean fixing any syntactical errors I have in the shader after that. Like, once it runs, do we think it's just going to work? Let's... normals. Yes. No. How do I do a poll on YouTube? Hold on one moment, caller. Add star poll. Normals working? Yes. No. Okay. How much faith does everyone have in me? You think the B is inverted so the shader goes wonky when I move the camera? Good shout. I appreciate the optimism that if you keep pressing yes, it will come out right. I didn't even see what the outcome was on Twitch. It disappeared too quickly, but we're at 69 and 31% on YouTube. I'll end the poll now, and we'll see what happens. Twitch is the Reddit of the live stream internet. Oh, okay. This doesn't count. I did say this doesn't count. I've just fat fingered in a what in the vertex shader. If I unbalance my brackets, is that what I've done? I think I've unbalanced my brackets. Right, ignore that. Now we'll see what happens. Yes, so many projects. I feel you. So many side projects. That's why I decided to start live streaming. It kind of commits me to working on one project, and I mean, obviously, I've got all the videos to do as well, but and have some sort of accountability. Thanks for coming along. See you later. Okay. Hasn't exploded, but has... Is it? But is it though? I feel like... I mean... Is that working? Surely that it looks like it's... I'm just very skeptical we got it right on the first time, but that looks... I mean, what do we do for if this works? What do we do for the rest of the stream? I wasn't planning on this just working. I thought I was going to spend an hour debugging this. I mean, that's normal mapping. Look at that. We're normaling. A little bit of a, give ourselves a nice little pinkish hue. The rave. Yeah, it's a light source. I guess B is pointing the right way. It certainly appears to be. It's hard to tell. Let me get right up in its like business. It's very hard to tell. Maybe I should have picked a better object for that. Yeah, I'm not convinced. I want it to be true, but I don't know. Like, you get the dark patches underneath, and as you come down, they disappear as the light's right in front of it, and then they go on top, right? And now you got the dark bits on top. Yeah, let's go find. Should we go find something else? Yeah, that looks strange as well there as well. Where is the actual light? I suppose the light is there. Let's see what we got. Let's slap a... let's get a better texture. Where's the wall texture? Yeah, does the Y need to be inverted? I don't know, there's lots of things to have a play around with here, so let's... I think it's not a million miles away from being what we want. Is it? Hang on. Am I reading? Is I do wonder if the Y component is upside down, purely because. Oh, it's kind of hard to tell with this. But is the green on top, whereas OpenGL reads it effectively upside down? So because we've inverted... Let me just flip the Y and just see... There should be a texture space flip. Right, yeah. Is that what I'm doing? Okay. Is that more like what we'd expect? I'm not convinced that's any better. You think it looks better? Okay. Maybe? It would make sense because I think the way OpenGL reads the texture, the Y would come out upside down. Yeah, I think you might be right. I do think that looks more realistic. we could load a sphere and slap on some free PBR textures. I know this isn't a PBR running pipeline, but we'll get the albedo, the shininess, and the normal maps. Unless, does OpenGL have a sphere model already? I would quite like to render a sphere. Okay. I'm just ignoring that on Twitch. Quacko, not responding. Yeah, let's. I mean, it might be a bit of fun to see this in action anyway. So let's file. Sorry, I'm just exporting a sphere. I want this as a what's been working for us? WAV file, wasn't it? Or an obj file. Obj desktop. Where am I? Oh, sorry, I had a funny 5 minutes then. Right, I'm going to stick this in. Where's my projects file? Projects, into game, into assets, and we'll call this sphere. Export selection. Okay, right, so let's go here. Quit that. Main, and then try sphere. I don't actually know what it's called. Oh, I didn't set the result of prediction. Good, thank you for reminding me. We're going to go with, I'm going to say yes. I think we're pretty close. Well, I'm going to say apologies. I think that was. We're still undecided whether the up or down was right, but I think that was pretty close to what we were expecting. So I apologise. It's just a bit of fun after all. I want P sphere 1. You need to have more faith in me, and then you would have put yes, and that would have been fine. Yeah, I didn't change the mesh name because I didn't know what it needed to be. I can't remember what Maya's default mesh name is. Okay, so we've got some spheres. That's good. Obviously the UVs are messed up. Let's make those a little bit bigger. In fact, I think we want those just to be like unit spheres. Yes. Well, we think it just works. We're positive that it just works. Okay, fine. So now let's get some free PBR textures. Hundreds of free PBR materials.com. Okay, again, not a PBR rendering pipeline, but I'm thinking, what are we thinking? Something metallic? I think that's something like a rusty metal or something. Can I search? Metals. Something like that, do we think? Someone was saying you don't want it too self-similar. Oh, Ray March was saying on Twitch before I stole all of his money. How about this as some way of recompense? Would you feel free to shout out which texture we should try? I think this one will be good. Can I just download? I don't want to download every texture. For the users of Blender, oh, are these not? I just want. Oh, it contains pink files. There you go. Fine. I guess Unity is as good as anything. You want this? We want the spiky one. Let's go for. Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Let's go. This one. This one looks spiky. Sure. My favorite tag, the gfain zip. My goodness, I have a gigabit internet, fiber to the premise. There's no way this should be taking this long. Thank you. Okay, so we've got an albedo. My favourite, that's strong albedo. And then we've got height, and then we've got the normal. The metallic, for some reason, is a is a PSD file rather than it being the full thing. Yeah, it's absolutely the service form, not mine. Okay, let's copy some of these across. I want the albedo, I want the normal. I kind of want the metallic map because I feel that's part of the point of this, but I don't know why it's not giving it to me. Why it's only giving it to me as a PSD file. That is absurd. Let's just. Can we find another spiky one? This is what everyone's here for, right? Watch me argue with various free assets. This one's the same. Why is the metallic a PSD file? Whatever. We'll use. That's about as that looks like it could be metallic-y. We'll use that. Okay, so albedo, normal, and height. Let's pop those into home. My folder. Projects, game, and assets. Let's stick those in there, and then we'll go back to here, and then we'll do the albedo, and then we'll do. I don't know if anyone knows why this specifically has OGL. In the file name. I don't know if that means something in the graphics world that I'm not familiar with. How big are these? These are Oh, you think it means OpenGL? Does that mean it's pre-processed for that, so I don't have to flip the Y? Because that's kind of defeating the whole point of this. I have to unflip the Y. Oh, which doesn't really. Does that prove? Does that prove my point? Incorrect number of channels 3. Okay, great. Let's. I guess we'll just add the 4th channel because I cannot go and change my code. Wow, that's a big file. Alright, okay, and then do, what was the other one? Height, metal, height, so do file, assets, metal star. Oh, it's not gonna, like that, because it's, we might have to fix our code. It's annoying. I was hoping we could avoid that. Yeah. It doesn't like that. Let's do... to be honest, I'm not actually that fussed about the specular. Like, so let's just... Let's go back to what we had before. We can. This is where the sort of terseness of the code, the sort of brittleness of the code we've written is really starting to show itself. We are not writing an engine. We don't handle every single file format. I only really want to handle like a subset of file formats that we kind of in control of. So pulling stuff off the internet is a little bit of a pain. 49. The albedo is only 1 channel. What? What? Oh, it is only 4-bit grayscale. Ugh. How do I... Does anyone know how to image magic convert? I'll just ask ChatGPT. How do I use image magic to convert a 4-bit grayscale image to RGBA? Yeah, I guess, like, it's a good point. I just want a bumpy image. Let's quickly check this. Yeah, so these are all metal ones, all grayscale. What do I want? Like, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to work out whether this normal map is right, and I'm just trying to find a decent, like, I want something that's normal that has a high sort of variance in the normal map, but also has some sort of base color. Yeah, what's this? I might be on something. Hold on one moment, caller. I'm absolutely being rate limited by this site now because it's just not downloading anything. Right, finding the model and the texture is actually harder than right. Okay. Right. Okay. Now we're on something. Let's do this one. you have to find me. You have to find me first to send me that court summons. Oh, this one actually has a proper metallic layer as well. Okay. I mean, I don't know how many channels it's got. I don't really want to know, but let's. And it's got a normal. Okay, so put those in. So okay, so now I want replace metal. This is going to get clipped and going to sound weird. Replace the metal studs with rusty ribbed metal. And I don't want the height, I actually want that to be metallic. I am cross-compiling from Windows with WSL. Number of channels 3. God damn it! Which one's that? That's giving me all of them. Right, okay, now let's... Everyone watch me do this again. As I add the... actually, can I just... If they're all 3 channel... Oh my god, this is such a... Oh, mother... Why has that got an alpha channel? Right, let me just change the other... I hate everything. This is why we need a proper... Well, I just overwrote that. That's why we need a proper asset pipeline set up, so we can just like... I want to be able to just drop files of any... within, you know, some constraint, any file format into a directory, have a program which parses them, puts them into a game-specific format, and packs those into like a binary file, and then the game just consumes that. It'll be super fast, it'll be super easy. normals. We're not ready for 4D normals. So for me to be right, this needs to be wrong because the Y will be flipped. Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying? I think if I was right originally, then this should now be wrong. That don't work anyway. What's only got 1 channel? How's it going? It's going. We're doing normal mapping, but we can't work out if the normals are right or not. So I've been trying to find... Why was that? What have I... Why did converting that to RGBA turn it to grayscale? Right? That metallic.png was an RGB, and I was like, okay, fine, turn it into a metallic, turn it into an RGBA, add the alpha channel, and it's like, oh, I guess it's grayscale now. What? Am I getting mad? This is not what the people came to see. Indeed, computer says no. Right, I've copied it back, right? So now this command, which I've been running on every single asset so far, says take the metallic ping, add the alpha channel, whatever the hell this does, and write it back out to the same file. But I don't want it to. Image magic don't convert to grayscale. Do I need to put the like color space in there? convert yeah, there must be a okay, I think I can do color space, spelt wrong, but what are you going to do about it? sRGB. Nope. It's like, nope, I'm going to... Right, okay, actually, I've got a better idea. I've got a better idea. Num channels equals 4 else GL RGB 8, and then num channels equals 4 else GL RGB. Right? What could go wrong? Okay, right. Doesn't look quite as good as the PBR pre-render, but let's go to the edge. Whee! And make this white. And have a little look-see. Oh, that is some rough texture in there. Okay. I still feel it's the same issue as the bloody ridges on the on the barrel. I think that's right. I think that's right. I've got no plans on doing parallax or PBR for this. I think PBR might be the next project. I want to keep it simple. You think the Y is flipped here. No, this is a separate image I found because the barrel ridges go all the way around, whereas this has this bar here. Right, well let's... Okay. Let's undo the flip and see if we can convince ourselves whether this is right or wrong. Yeah, we'll bring up the render next to it as well and have a look. Okay. Down we go. And make it white. And zoom in a little bit. Now here. Oh, steady, stay. Oh, this is not. I do not have high fidelity on this. Right. I mean, it basically looks the same as mine. Well, I don't think the horizontal shadow, like the horizontal occlusion, or whatever you want to call it, is the issue. It's the vertical one. It's whether the Y should be flipped or not. I can't convince myself either way. There's got to be a better image for this. What about this? Do we think this? Oh, what about this? Should we try waffles? Let's try waffles. Okay. I'm going to keep this doesn't have a metallic map, so I'm going to keep the same metallic map as this. So these specular shadows may very well look wrong. But I'm not too worried about that. Hopefully it's not too off-putting. So what I want is... And... Oh, actually, can I just do C2 ether waffle chipped metal? So yeah, I couldn't open file. Waffled. Sorry, it's the we've got a past tense waffle. So I was right. It was going to take the whole stream to get this right. Okay, right. Now we're waffling. So get this reasonably close to that. I'll zoom in. I could just change the default light. Okay, so I think this might be right. Right? Thoughts? Feelings? Yeah, I think that's right. So I was... Hang on. So now let me just double check what this actual normal looks like. Because this is OGL. So is this... Has this got the green pointing down? Is that cyan more green than the magenta? I'm aware green is up, but where's the green in this? Do you know what I mean? Like, the file... So the issue I've got is the file is called OGL. So does this mean it's been pre-processed for OGL, so the Y is already flipped? Right, okay, but I think we might be missing the question here. Is like, I removed this and it worked. Was this always... Did I only have to do this because I'm now using... Like, because this was... what am I trying to say? Was it wrong to add this originally, or is this just been pre-baked? Or do I still need to do this? It just happens to be pre-baked into that image. Yes, okay. So we think that this, which I wrote originally, so therefore is correct. So I think my poll result was correct. This was correct. The image was wrong, but that's not what I was polling for. So I think this is fine. I think I don't care because this looks pretty sweet. I'm just going to run it again, have a quick play around with it, and then I don't know. I was planning on streaming for slightly long tonight, but I don't know what we're going to do next. So maybe we can have a think about what we're going to do. But as it's going to be the last stream before Christmas, I was planning on streaming for I don't know, maybe like another 40 minutes, another hour or so. Depends on what we were doing. But this is pretty cool. I think the specular is wrong though. Well, I guess it's kind of right because it's using the rusty whatever it was before. Actually, the specular looks pretty good. despite it being, I think, the wrong specular image. Yeah, you see if you put it above the green pools there, and if you go down, it then moves to the top. So I think this is right. I have some more concrete game ideas, yeah, which I think we can get to soon. Oh, actually, that's a point. I downloaded some more assets. Let's see if we can bring those in and see what we get to. Let me just see if I can find them, because there might be something fun we can do with this. Okay. I've no idea if this is going to work, but let's give it a go. Actually, let's just comment this up quickly. I'm bringing this. Sure, have the MTR object as well. Doesn't really matter. So this was what? Add normal mapping. I kind of want to go back to the barrels though, because I quite liked the barrels, and we've been sticking with those for a while. So let's just see if we can quickly revert that. Okay. I want to now load in a let's have a look. What am I doing? So we've got the shaders, got the material. I want to do const auto level mesh equals game mesh loader dot load factory.obj. No idea what it's going to be called yet, so I'm going to have to load it and find out. The tangents are calculated when we load the model. The bitangents are calculated on the fly. What am I missing? Oh yeah. Let's see if we can load this. Whoa, this is slow. Oh my god, there's loads. Okay, fine. I might. What was the question? Do you have a? Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Do I have a whiteboard of ideas? No, it's all off my head, which is the worst place for it to be. Let me open this up in Blender, and I'll show you what I've. Not Blender, lol. Maya. So I've got an asset like this, which I thought might be fun to have a... Ignore the Z fighting, I've got my settings wrong. Might be kind of fun to have a play around in. But I think all these are, yeah, all separate bits, which makes sense. It's just going to be... And they're all separately textured. So it's going to be a little bit of work, I think, to try and get this set up. I guess we could start, like, I could just start at the front. My only concern is that like this is like dog shit slow loading. It's going to be a really slow iteration speed. So I don't know if we want to fix the... I guess there's kind of several ways forward now. There's kind of several things that need to be done, right? We need to load like a better environment, because I think that's just going to be important, like the ability to kind of load something slightly bigger. We're going to need a skybox, we're going to need HDR and tone mapping, and we're going to need a better asset pipeline so that things aren't so slow. I don't really know what's kind of best to work on next. I was just going to, you know, if we want to stream for like another, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour, I'm trying to think what we could maybe achieve in that time. You know what, we could... It's using the cross product for calculating by tangents valid. What was if the UVs are not mapped in a right angle? I believe Asimp, because I tell it to calculate the tangents, will make sure that they are at right angles to the normal. So I think just by the fact that I've got... I just think through the fact that we've got calculate tangent space, I believe when I pull them out that is correct. In the same way that I could have also pulled out the bitangents as well. We could give Skybox a go. Like, I'm not making any promises, but let's have a look. Where are we? Let's have a look. We need to anti-aliasing as well at some point. Or do we want to do HDR? No, I think we'll save that for another day. Let's find... How do we do... Cube maps. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes, just trying to figure out what we're going to do next. Is there something for DSA you have to do about cube maps? Let's start. Let's just start running some code and see where we get to. So let's do e source cubemap.h. So I'm going to create a new class. This is going to look similar to the texture. In fact, let's just get the texture one up beside us so we can see what we're doing. Shouldn't that only work if the UVs go in perpendicular directions? To be honest, like, you have kind of pushed the limit of my understanding of this. I just kind of assumed that Asimp did the right thing, and it appears to be doing the right thing here. Probably something I should dig into at a later date. But that's kind of my understanding was that Asimp kind of just made the maths work. So we're gonna cube map's gonna take 6 faces, so it's going to be 6 lots of data. So do we load those as... I don't want to load those as textures because I don't want to create handles for them. So I think I'm going to have to do something weird, like... Let's see... hash include c std def, hash include c std int. So let's go, cubemap's going to take const vector of a std span const std byte faces. And then we're going to have a std uint 32t width and a std uint 32t height. I think that's what we want. Don't know why I closed that. I still want that. And then... Oh look, I spelled it wrong. And then I'm gonna want a hashing include our auto release primitive, and then our OpenGL functions, and then I think I'm gonna want a. He says auto release GL uint of a handle. Probably could have just copied a lot of this verbatim. Bring that in. Okay. Well, have I misbracketed something? No, I think that's right. Yeah, so cubemap will have 6. In fact, actually, we can... I just wonder if we should use the statically sized span, because it's always going to want to be 6, or if I'm overthinking it. I think I'm overthinking it. We'll just ensure it's there. Thanks. Oh my goodness. Right. Alright, sf, no, vs source cubemap.cpp. Okay, let's go. Include cubemap. Namespace game. GG. Bring down a bunch of these. Okay, and then we're going to do G, yeah, 18G, bring that across, put that in there, do cube map, bam, and then dot, nope, yes. Okay, right, now we can start implementing this. I know it's missing. I'm going to go add it. Okay, so I'm going to have to bring... Oh, okay, let's just bring in cubemap.cpp and just check that blends. I was still trying to load that massive file. Get rid of that in a second as well. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, so cubemap. Where are we at? I'm going to need to bring in Ooh. Am I going to get an ODR violation if I do that? I think it only needs to exist in one translation unit, right? So I think I can just bring in that. And then we'll basically want to do something very similar to this. No, because you only want, I believe, I think you only want to bring the definition into one translation unit, i.e. only one CPP file in the whole program should define this, and the rest should not do it, because then I think it just accesses the declaration, but I could be wrong. We'll find out when it all explodes. Do I need to create all right. Sorry, I'm just figuring out a lot of this as I go along. Yes, it will need that, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. Let me have a look what I've. Let me check some notes. Yeah, yeah, I thought I was right. Thanks. I've done something on this before. I'm just trying to find the code. OpenGL cube map. Let's have a look. So I do need to use GL text image 2D. That's okay. So I need to do. So handle is, I think, the same as this. And then I need to do handle equals, no, sorry, GL create textures. 1U handle. Error, nope. Error, and then ensure handle could not create texture. Oh no, wait a minute. What am I doing? Sorry, the OpenGL debug will do that for me. So I'll create the texture. I think a cube map is just the same texture. Oh no, wait a minute. Now I need to give it the. Is it a GL texture 3? Sorry, GL texture 3D. No, what is a texture? No, is it a 3? Oh, hang on. Right. GL create texture. So the target is GL texture cube map. Right, okay, so we're going to create a cube map texture. And then we need to set the storage for it. So sorry, I'm just, so then we can do GL texture storage 2D. We go to the handle 1 GL RGB A8. I might need to check on that with the after we've loaded the data, because I think that's what we do here. We load the data. Because we don't know the actual width. I'm just worried that we're going to get the channels issue that we had before. Let's just keep going. I suppose we can ensure. Yeah, we can ensure, can't we? That's fine. So that's fine. So use of a. Then going to want ranges, obviously. And then we can do for const auto index face in std views enumerate faces. That's going to blend. I need to just update my tooling. Was it not like convert? Oh, I need to take the address of it. (32) undeclared identifier is there. Yep. So let's do. So that will be face.size and face.data. So that will load it. We'll free it at the end of the scope. We can double check that those match. Okay, I think we need there. Sorry, just nope. Comp. Let's run that. Okay. Okay. So we're going to create our cube map texture. We're going to say it's going to have this much space. It's going to allocate this much space for it. Then we're going to need to go through all the face data that we've got and upload them all. So after this, we should be able to do GL texture sub image 2D and give it the handle. And then what are all the arguments for this? So 0 offsets, width, height, depth, format, type. Okay, fine. So we want no weird offsets. We want to give it the index here. And then the width, so it knows which slot effectively to put it into in the cube map. Height 1, GL RGBA. and then is it what GL unsigned byte, because that's the byte, and then the actual data itself, which will be raw data. Too many arguments. Expected 9. Where have I gone wrong? Just handle 000 index width height 1. Too many function calls, but I'm pretty sure this is... Oh, it's because I want 3D, which means we now have to go back to our list of Welsh town names and do sub-image 2D F2. That makes sense, because otherwise why would it... The extra argument is this, I suspect. Because we're uploading 3D data. There. 44 possible loss data. Oh, that'll be .get. I bet it's the index it doesn't like. Yeah, possible loss of data. It can only be this. So static cast GL int. Is it signed? Even though you would never. It is signed. Okay. Okay, that seems to work. Quit that out. Okay. So we'll bung all our data in there. I think that's all we really need then. Because then we're going to want to render a cube, but I think we have to do something funny with the projection mapping of it all. Because I think you just render a cube in the center, but then disable the depth buffering such that, and then don't do the perspective. We do all the texture wrapping in a separate sampler object, so I will do that in a second. We just need to provide it in here an ability to like overload it. Why? We'll get to that in a second. So I think what I need to do is render a cube. I think this is going to need a separate material. One second. Source assets. Sorry. Right. Okay. I think this might actually be a little bit more than I can chew for the next sort of. I thought I could do this pretty quick, which is a little bit upsetting. So I do apologise. I think what we might do is Oh, hang on. Okay, let's see if we can see what we can do in like the next 30 minutes. I didn't realize the time was getting. Okay, fine. So we're gonna want a some more shaders. Assets. So cube dot. What did I call the other ones? Vert. Okay, fine. Okay, so let's do version 460 core, layout, location equals 0 in vec3. We only care about the position, so I think, correct if I'm wrong, can I... Do I have to specify them all? Even if I don't use them, will that mess up the alignment? Like, oh, just bring them all in. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world, is it? We can let's get it working and then optimize it later. Out vec3 text chord, then uniform. We're going to have to get this and this, because I want to try and keep it the same as what we had before. Okay, so view projection R, we got all that, and then void main text chord equals. Oh, is this where? Sorry, because I'm just off screen going through the OpenGL tutorial for it. Why is it setting the texture coordinate to the position? The direction. Oh, I think basically because this gets wrapped around it, you have to. Has it got a better diagram of it? You have to figure out from where you are what texel in what wall to pull in to texture it. So I think it's basically using the vertex position to figure that out. So I think then that becomes in position. I think that's what's going on. And then GL position equals projection times view times. Now we don't need a model transform because it's always going to be a unit sphere at the center. For in position 1.0. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. We know how to sample the 3D texture and we know where our position is going to be, which means we don't need the model, but I'll include it anyway because I think a lot of the rendering code is probably going to expect it. I don't know, maybe come back to that. And then the source assets. Nope. Thank you very much for the super chat, much appreciated. Totally appreciate the streams, puts me in a happy place. Let's get it working and optimized later, and then a few years later, yes indeed. Doesn't have to, just has to run fast enough. Doesn't necessarily have to be the fastest. It's a cube.frag. And then again, let's do version 460 core out. What did I call it in the other frag one? Very kind of you. Thank you very much for that. Out frag color. And then in vec3 text chord, and then we're going to have a uniform sampler cube skybox. Actually, I guess probably text 0 because we haven't assigned them better names yet. And then void main, and then we'll do frag color equals texture skybox text chords. So I think that's kind of enough to get us going. And now we're going to go to main. I think actually we're going to change the renderer. Does the renderer need to know? I think the renderer is going to need to know about the cube map, right? Because it's going to need to disable the depth buffering and do some extra bits on it. So we're going to say const cube map skybox. Okay. And the renderer cube map, and then const cube map skybox. I think actually, oh, have I saved it as I saved it as the wrong thing. Let's go up. I did. Well, good spot. Okay. I think the renderer could potentially own the cube itself. So why bother getting, like, you can only render a skybox with a cube, so why would it not have its own mesh, right? Because otherwise I feel like I've got to pass it in to the cube map every time. Is that I'm having an existential crisis? Should the renderer internally own a cube and then render it? I think it should, because then it doesn't have to worry about passing it in as a scene and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to need let's just undo loading this massive level as well, because no one wants that. So what does it need? It needs a mesh loader. Okay, should include mesh loader, and then this will also need a mesh object skybox cube. And then this can take a mesh loader. Why not the scene owning the skybox? I guess it doesn't really matter because you're going to pass in the cube map that you want to render it anyway, and I guess that probably should be part of the scene. I think today we'll get something working, and then the next stream we'll come back and refactor it. I just want to get something working. There's definitely multiple ways of doing it. I think like the internal implementation details of like I won't be able to say render this scene with this cube map. Maybe the cube map is part of the scene, but the internal implementation details of like, oh, it has to have a cube for the cube map and how it's all kind of rendered seems to be somewhat irrelevant to the scene. The scene shouldn't care, or the act of asking it to render shouldn't care about the details that you have to put a cube at the origin and do a load of chuff with it. That's kind of my view of it. Okay, mesh loader, and then Skybox cube. So this will be mesh loader dot cube. So we've already got one. I think that cube might be too big. I think it's not I think it's not half by half. I think it's 1 by 1. Well, I'm saying that the scene shouldn't even have the mesh for the skybox. That is kind of irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? You just say, here's a cube map. Here's the thing I want to be plastered over the sky. You make it work. And then it's also going to need the resource loader. It's also going to need the resource loader as well, because it's going to have to load the program. I'm not saying this is right, I'm saying this is easy. Because now we want to take basically all of this. Let's do that in here. This is also going to have the material. Right, if you had different skyboxes for different scenes, you would just provide a different cube map texture, right, at the point where you call render. But the fact that it's plastered over a box is irrelevant and is the same regardless of what the cube map is. Right, this is the bit the user cares about. The fact that you have to slap it around a box is, I would posit, is irrelevant. And then we're going to need a material. Now, auto load, create skybox material, game material, stick these in there, and why I'm doing this will make sense in a minute. See if you could return, and then this means I can now initialize this skybox material is that right? Oh, I don't know if I have a copy constructor for that actually. That might not work. Yeah, okay, fine. That's right, we can fix that quick, because it just takes these two bits in. We'll just stick these as... Oh, because now I can't get the resource loader. Yeah, is it just because I need to pass resource loader in? Resource loader, that reference, and then create could work. So a quick check of that. Oh, he's using auto release hand on. Fine, so yeah, that should work because it's not actually copying it. It will. That will match the move constructor, so it's fine. It will just steal the resource to that. Okay, so we've got that, and then we need a Oh, that's too much anyway. Okay, fine. So that should be enough. To render the box. So now, I think, after we've done all the rendering, do we render it first? No, we want to render it. Yeah, we need to ensure it's the first object. And disable the depth writing. So we want to render it first, but we don't want to write it into the depth buffer. Line 62 needs to be, yeah, we'll update that all in a second. Render first so the objects appear over the top of it. Yeah, okay, fine. So we're going to need to do GL depth mask, GL false, and then true when we come to do the rest of that. Okay, right, I think we're there. I think we're nearly there. So we need to do Skybox material use. Don't know why that's a pointer. Skybox cube dot bind, and then unbind when we're done, and then somewhere in here we need to write this chuff out. Let's get our cube vert back. We can just reuse this here. Oh wait, I don't even need to. What we're doing? I can just I just move this down a bit, right? And then after that's been set. So I'll write the camera buffer. Let's set up all the buffers first, because those are the same regardless, and then before we do the actual rendering, because those are now all set and bound for us, we can use the material, we can bind it, and then we need to bind the text, the cube map texture. So let's go to material, bind texture. So I think we're going to need another one of these, which is bind cube map. I think we can get rid of that. Yeah, we've done it after that. Okay, fine. So now I can do Skybox material. Why do I keep saying it's a pointer when it's not? Oh, it's because it's a pointer below. That's why. Bind cube map, and we can give it here. Okay, it's all coming together now. Bind cube map, cube sky. No, what do I call it? Skybox. And then we'll get there in a minute. We're going to need a sampler for that as well. So let's do sampler. Let's do const cube map skybox, and then do const sampler Skybox sampler. Okay, so now we can bind the cube map Skybox. Where were we just at? Material, the Skybox, and then the Skybox. Don't know why that's not there. Skybox sampler. Bring this in here. Sampler, Skybox, sampler. Random line 21 on render.h. Oh yeah, thank you. Good spot. Nope, apparently it wants to be there. What? Fine, whatever. Not gonna argue with it. Const sampler. If I got a mistake, const cube out skybox const. I'm not seeing it. Oh, there. Right, is that it? Whatever. We'll fix it. We'll fix it in compile time. Right, okay, so we disable the depth buffer, we bind the material, we use the material, we bind the cube map, we bind that. These pointers are all pointers to stuff that's been stack allocated. They're not. It's just a convenience way of passing them around, right? It doesn't. A pointer as a concept is orthogonal to memory allocation, although they are often conflated. I need to probably draw this bugger, don't I? I guess we just call that, right? For Skybox cube dot index count. Yeah, nice. Okay, and then Skybox cube dot index offset. I don't need that bind. I don't know why that's there because I don't bind it. Right. Okay. Okay, so we probably actually need to get these textures loaded in, don't we? Just quit out that. I'm going to use the one from their tutorial because it's pretty good. You got to make sure you load them in the right order as well. That's always fun. Okay, right. Let's try this. Main. Keep up. Before all this, we want a, after all this, let's do auto Skybox equals game cube map. And then this needs to be a vector of spans of data. Okay, so fine. So we can do that, and then we can do resource loader dot load string I'm going to do it in the order I think you need to do it. So write.jpg 6 and then right. So that will be left, top, bottom, front, and back. And then the width and height of that is, yes, what an excellent question. What is that width and height? (2048) by 2048. 8U and 2048U. It's a JPEG, so that means it won't have an alpha channel, right? Assets, front, RGB. Okay, that's fine. We can just assume, for better or worse, we'll just assume that's always the case. So let's just drop the alpha. I suppose you would never have an alpha skybox anyway, right? 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 Okay. Why does that not blend? Can I convert from initialize list to std span, std byte? Why not? Seems like a thing you should be able to do. Oh, because I've got load string. What a fool. Do you remember what I called it? Is it load binary? Okay, fine. So now renderer, we're like renderer. So we're going to need a skybox sampler as well. So let's just do auto skybox sampler equals game sampler. Keep that default initialized to start with because we're going to need to put some extra bits and pieces in it. And then when we render way down at the bottom, we're going to say render with our skybox and our skybox sampler. Could even work. Could even just work. Oh, because I've got to actually construct the renderer now with the extra loader bits, haven't I? So this now has to take a, which was the, it was a resource loader, then the mesh loader. Fix main? Oh, I didn't realize I'd broken main. Okay. Oh, bollocks. Oh, actually, of course. It turns out you can't just say a function is going to exist without actually going and doing it. Material. So before textures. Oh, now I've got to look up what this does. How do I bind this son of a gun? I don't feel that's right. Is that right? I really thought I had to specify that it was going to be a That's actually a lot easier than I thought, because I thought I'd have to specify somehow that this was a cube map. Oh well, let's see what happens. I know, right? It should just know. Maybe that's the next version of ChatGPT, is I write a header file and then it just implements the CPP file for me. Pointers because hang on, let's just see if this worked. It did not. Do I have like a 1v1 cube somewhere? Strange. We just I tend to prefer pointers for internal stuff because one, storing them as a member doesn't prohibit the class from being copy assigned, and two, I will probably want to store them in a collection at some point. I know you can use the reference wrapper, but I feel like as that just effectively converts it into a pointer, might as well have it as a pointer. And three, I often want identity equality rather than object equality. So that's kind of what I've done for it. Okay, let's just go to main. Let's just, can we hollow that out? So I don't seem to have anything. I'm going to have to render doc this. Right. It shouldn't, the culling shouldn't, because shouldn't it be really close? Maybe, like, maybe. It could, I don't know, we'll find out. Is that right? Did I copy that right? Okay, launch application, launch, no, where's it gone? There's no, I think we had this discussion before, there is no face culling at the moment, so, but I don't know what the default is for OpenGL. I thought the default was to not cull anything anyway. But that could be a thing, but I've not enabled or disabled culling. It's just that whatever it does, whatever the default does. There was also a bunch of error messages as well, potentially. Right, color pass. So here's mesh viewer. So it's definitely a cube. It's definitely rendering a cube. Let's just view the vertex shader. Oh, it's using the wrong program. Oh no, did I? Oh, what a fool. Helps if I use the right shader. Should you get into C++ or Rust? If you just get into low-level stuff, I really don't think it matters. I would just pick one and start. There's loads to be learnt for both. A case of the copy-paste, indeed. Well, it's just going to work now. Undefined variable skybox, undefined variable sky in the fragment shader. E source. No, assets. Assets cube frag. What was it complaining about? Undefined variable skybox. Right, correct. Call it text node. And text coord and text coords. What did I call the other one? Text coord. Man, I really got that line wrong, didn't I? Got it wrong twice. Honestly, if you just want to learn some low-level stuff, like if you just want to learn about pointers and dynamic memory management, C is a great choice because there's just no chuff in it, and it will just teach you those kind of concepts. I mean, I wouldn't write any large-scale software in it, but like if you want to just focus on like learning pointers and stuff like that, then heap and stuff like that. Oh, hello, I'm in the cube. Well, it works if I stand perfectly inside of it. But why? Okay, where have I gone wrong? I'm surprised that worked at all, to be honest. Like, so I've obviously got an issue with the Don't I need to do it so that the cube always renders where I am? Right? Is that right? So I write I've got the camera view and the camera projection. Yeah, I think I might be right there. Frag simple nope. Cube vert. Can I I feel like I feel like the view here needs to be like a map 4 of a map 3. Right? Is that right? Is that a thing? Strip off the translation component. I don't have any LSP support for GLSL, I just have a color, whatever it is, syntax highlighter. It doesn't actually do any autocomplete or anything. Yeah, because you're effectively putting yourself inside a box and making sure that box always moves around you and with you. Ooh. Oh man, that's looking good, isn't it? Right, quickly, let's put our barrels back in. I was not expecting to bash out cube maps like today. I thought the whole time, I'll stream a little bit longer tonight because it's going to be the last one before Christmas, and I'll probably take that long to get normal maps, and I was surprised how quickly we did normal maps. Oh, no, now we're cooking with gas. I think there's optimization tricks you can do because we have to draw. There's a lot of overdraw here. Like we draw the whole cube map and then we go and draw all these on top of it. So there's quite a lot of overdraw. I think there's things you can do to render all these first, then use the depth maps, and then fill in the cube map. I think, but stuff for another day. Feels like a game now. I know it does. I know it can't possibly be, but it feels brighter because you've got don't have the black screen. But obviously, there's no additional lighting calculations going on. But it feels better. I like that. Like with every Skybox, it has no right to make such a huge difference. I 100% agree with that. It's just a tiny little cube that I've attached to myself, and what a difference it makes. Yeah, so I think next, I'm hoping to stream on the Sunday after Christmas, but we'll see how it goes. But regardless, next stream we will do. I think we'll do HDR and get that out of the way because I think that's going to be at least a stream of doing HDR and tone mapping and setting up all the frame buffers and splitting it to the buffer and all that sort of crap. So I think that's going to be at least a stream, if not probably a stream and then another stream to tidy it up. And then I think we'll improve the model loading so you can iterate faster. And we'll probably bring in that level that I showed, just so we've kind of got something to look at. And then, am I the guy who fixes old games on YouTube? Read the comments. Some people don't think I do a particularly good job of it, but I do attempt to. I think we're pretty close to... I think we're pretty close to starting to pull together a game. What we'll do... So I think I'll have a brainstorm of some more ideas, but what I kind of want to do is get a bunch of little puzzle mechanics together, do them all individually as like separate, like quote-unquote levels, so effectively on different CPP files, and then we'll start bringing it all together. But I think we're pretty close. Like I'm pretty pleased with this. Like this has come along a lot quicker than I thought it would. We're at 2,621 lines of code. It's not a lot of code. I think we got quite a lot out of not a lot of code. Yeah, physics, sad. We'll see. I'm gonna try and go as far as I can without physics. Right, let's just comment this up. Just gonna whack all these in here. And what we got, commit, add, Skybox. Quite a lot done today, and then we are stream 15. See, this isn't a game engine. This is a game, and I'm trying to in my mind, I'm very much trying to keep those distinct. AC's been a member for 4 months. Congratulations! Thank you very much for sticking around and helping out. Yeah, I'm very much keen. This is why I'm not making it super generic. I'm not we're just literally attacking this case by case, edge case by edge case. I'm very much not trying to make this the be all and end all, like the next Godot or anything like that, because we'll just never get anywhere. But I just want to make a game, and we'll just focus on the bits that we need to make a game, and we'll aggressively refactor as we go along. But I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm going to leave that up for people to see. I've got to rebuild it. I might just do a release build of, like an optimized build of Assemp, and then just link that in, because this is like painful to load at the moment. Like this. Whatever this doing is, if it could not, that would be great. We'll leave that up because I think that's a pretty good place to end it. Cool. Okay. Let me see before everyone heads off. I don't think I have any more free memberships to give, but there's 45 people on Twitch. That's I think that's the highest number yet. So that's great. Let's see if we can send you somewhere fun. Who's doing C++? Same category. Nope. That's I've clicked the wrong button. No one. That's sad. Oh, did I see C++? No, C#. Close. Close. Very close. That's not English. Yeah, so try not to accidentally implement things. I think we're going to want HDR, and I might indulge myself a little bit. I kind of want to do SSAO just because I think it'll be fun. So we might indulge ourselves a little bit in some bits, but there's no one around, so it doesn't matter. Okay, right. Well, thank you very much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it. Twitch has just gone to an ad break anyway, so they're not going to hear this. But I hope everyone has a very good Christmas, whatever you end up doing, and I will see you whenever the next stream is. I will keep an eye on the YouTube channel. I'll be posting when I go live there. But yeah, have a great Christmas, everyone, and I'll see you real soon.